as I'm sitting here and I'm holding myself, I'm doing more reading than ever, right? I'm doing more studying than ever. I'm listening to more videos than ever before. And not only am I listening to them, but I'm really hearing them use words, and I'm using this time to expand my vocabulary. Right? Like I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. Like you are not the only one. Just because you're a child does not mean that adults do not have the same issues that you have, right? They just have them on a different level. They can just mask them a little better from you. Why? Because they have more experience. They've been going through this life of not being a great speller for so long. Like they know how to hide this. And watch this. Like, and again, right? I'm be transparent through this whole thing. I will sit here, right, when I'm in front of people and they're like, yo, can you spell this? Before I had the courage to say, how do you spell that? I would go ahead and like type it into my phone, because you know phone has autocorrect, right? So I'll type it into my phone and I will let it autocorrect the word. Now I'm looking at it, right? Now that I'm home, right? Because I don't have that issue no more. Number one, I'm going to just say, how do you spell it? But before that, I'm looking at my phone. And now when I see other people, like when they're writing and I see them glance at their phone, I'm like, yep, they're not a good speller and their confidence is low. How do I know? Because they're doing what I used to do when my confidence was low. I'm still not a great speller, right? And I just look at my phone. I'll be like, you know how to spell that? And the crazy thing is, I'll ask somebody, you know how to spell it? And they'd be like, nah, I don't, man. So it's like, yo, I'm not the only one. And you're not the only one, but you're home right now. And because you're home, young king, because you're home, young queen, all you have to do is be comfortable with you right now. All you have to do is do the things that are going to help you to build the confidence that you need, that's going to help you to excel. Understand what I'm saying to you? It's not about, you know, are you the smartest? It's not about, are you the most skillful? It's about, do you have the courage to go beyond your current situation? Do you have the discipline to go beyond your current situation? Are you ready to do what it takes to be earned the title of you not just calling yourself a king or calling yourself a queen, but when you go somewhere, they're looking like, yo, that's a young queen right there. That's a young king. Like they work different, right? And I'm using king and I'm using queen because a lot of you are listening to music and you're hearing yourself called outside your name. You're hearing the N word thrown around. You're hearing the B word thrown around, and you're talking to each other like that and you think it's okay. Listen, again, I'm one of the people that was doing the same thing, and I'm working on it constantly, 24 hours a day, making the corrections. Like, listen, let's take that out your vocabulary. Why are you using that? I'm asking myself, why are you using that? My wife will call me out like, yo, why are you saying that? Like, you're not a fool. Like, you know how to talk. Like, why are you putting the words there? Do you just not know what to say? So you're just throwing that word in, right? So I'm making them corrections. I'm telling you what I'm doing, and you think that because you're making this mistake and you see other people, grown people, when they're in front of you, adults, you see your teachers in front of you and you see them going through life and it looks like they got it all together. Listen, I promise you, and teachers, this ain't no shot at you, but your students need to know, like, listen, you got flaws too, right? Your parents, they got flaws too. I'm not perfect as a parent. I promise you I got flaws. But what I'm doing is I'm identifying the flaw and I'm going to fix it. So I'm telling you why y'all aren't even playing grounds. Don't waste this time. Why you aren't even playing grounds, and somebody who's disciplined is not, somebody who's used to structure is not disciplined to work without that structure. Somebody who's like, listen, I don't work well in structure. I work well over here. You're on even playing grounds now. I want you to get that more than anything. So as we go through this and we talk for the next few minutes, I want you to have in your mind, nobody is better than you, right? Like that's hands down anytime. Nobody is better than you. They might be better in some things, but you're better in some things. But we get so caught up in looking at people and seeing where people are and seeing what people are doing that we start to compare ourselves to them. And the crazy thing is, you don't even want to do what they're doing. You just want the attention they're getting. You just want the praise that they're getting. So what you need to do is you need to get yourself into a space where you're able to operate and do the things that you want to do so you can become great in the area that you want to be great in, and then you will get that praise. The praise will come. But the struggle comes before the praise. The frustration comes before the praise. And the person that you're looking at, they went through the struggle. They went through they went through the frustrations, and they're probably still going through it. Why? Because when people get to another level, at some point they get tired of the level they're at and they want to go to the level above. And I'm just telling you that level above is where you need to get, right? So let's identify where we are. Let's identify where we are. And to do this, I want you to ask yourself, really, what is in my way right now? What is the thing that's stopping me from moving forward? What is the thing that's keeping me from going to that next step? Forget the next level, but what is that thing that's keeping me from going to the next step? Is it number one, I lack the mental toughness? Is it number two, I lack the confidence? Is it number three, I don't have the self-esteem? So when I'm talking about the mental toughness, I'm talking about your follow through. Are you going, and then when it starts to get difficult, you slow down? And then when it gets even harder, you get to the point where you're barely moving. And then when it's like at the maximum, like the pain, like you can feel it, you just stop. If you stop, that's mentally, right? Mentally, we don't have what it takes. We don't have that grit to keep pushing forward. So now we revert, right? We back up. We go the opposite direction. And then we find something new to get involved in. And it's always easy to get going. It's always easy to move forward in the beginning, and then it starts to get hard again. And then we go from one thing to another thing, right? I need you to get to the point where your mental toughness is at another level. So you're not just going, but your follow through is tight. The follow through, right? The consistency of pushing and pushing, even when you run into something and it seems like you can't move it. That doesn't mean that you can't get it done. What that means is it's time for you to stop pushing, and it's time for you to just hold. Like, don't push, just hold so it doesn't back up. But in the process of holding, you go study. You go study because you emptied your information tank. And when you empty the information tank, there's nothing else to push. What are you pushing? You're pushing nothing. Frustration builds up because there's nothing else in there. It's dry, it's empty, and you're pushing frustration, the emptiness. It keeps taking every negative thing that comes to you. You start to watch what everybody else is doing, and more negative jumps in there. And before you know it, you're done holding, and you just let it go, right? When we're talking about confidence, when we're on confidence, it's your belief system. Now watch this. When we're saying hold and study, if your belief system says, if I study enough, and you believe that if you study enough, and not just study, but you study the right thing, like you're very specific on what it is that you're studying, and you're studying the right information, now you're going to get more push power. But don't push too soon. Don't sit there and say, oh, I got this, let me push. No, I want you to build up the information. But as you're building it up, right, when you get it to a point where you're like, okay, yep, I got that. But then what do I do there? I want you to keep going deeper, right? Don't take too long to hold because you're going to get worn out from holding. I want you to get the information up so you know that next step and the step after that. And I want you to get back to pushing. And I want you to empty that tank again. And then I want you to hold, and I want you to get back to pushing. But you got to have the belief that if I study enough, I get what I want. You have to have the belief that if I talk to the right people, not just talk to people, but I talk to the right people, then I'm going to have the information that I need to help me push forward. You have to believe that somebody like you from your environment, that comes from where you come from, that been through the things that you've been through, can make it, right? So that might mean you need to go and study people, not where they are, but where they came from. So you can see, like, yep, as I was going through it, they went through it. Yep, they went through this and they made it and they got there. Look how they're living now. Like, I want that. Like, that's what I want. Don't get obsessed with what they have. Get obsessed with what they went through to get to what they have, right? Believe that if you do that, it will work. So now you go from having your mental follow through to having the belief that's going to allow you to study so you can get back to, so you can stop holding and you can stop pushing again, right? And then we're going to get to that self-esteem. Now, when we're talking about self-esteem, we're talking about true belief, right? We're talking about self-respect, right? Your self-esteem is your self-respect. When your self-respect is low, your self-esteem is low because you don't think you're worthy. You don't think you're worthy to have the things that you can have. You don't think you're worthy to achieve the things that you want to achieve. You don't think you're worthy to be the one that is going to be able to take care of your family the way you want to take care of your family. But when you get to the point where your self-esteem is up and you got that self-respect, right? Self-respect meaning that I respect myself so much, I cannot let you disrespect me. I value myself so much, I cannot let you undervalue me. I know that I'm better than what I'm performing at. Therefore, I'm not going to disrespect myself and underperform. I'm going to respect myself and go above and beyond in everything that I do. Now watch this. We got mental toughness, so we're pushing, right? We're pushing. When we get to the point where we can't push no more, we hold. When we get to the point that we're holding, we go and fill up that tank again, and we're getting that information in. We believe that if I study enough, we believe that if I'm specific on what I'm studying, it's going to give me the power to push again. And then we believe that if I respect myself enough, right? If I respect myself enough, I'm not going to let anybody undervalue me. I'm not going to let anybody else disrespect me. But some of y'all are disrespecting yourself, and it's allowing room for others to come in and disrespect you because you think that it's okay. You think that it's okay because that's how you've been living. So what I want you to do, right, in order to make this possible, I want you to identify 3 key areas, right? 3 key areas that you know, that you feel, right? Because you really don't know yet, right? But that you feel are stopping you from moving forward. I want you to identify 3 areas. Give me three. Give me 3 areas, right? If you need to pause this, if you need to stop, if you just want to, write that down real quick. Yep, 3 key areas, and you want to get back to it later, like do that. It's okay, right? But I want you to pause, and I want you to write 3 key areas, right? 3 key areas that you feel are stopping you from moving forward internally. We're gonna break this down into 2 sections. 3 things internally that are stopping you. So again, right? And I gave you the answers. I gave you 3 of them, right? So when we're talking internal, I don't care what you write down internal, and I want you to do this on your own so you get it. I want you to track down, I want you to identify this. Write down your things you had that you might have already wrote, and I want you to work it all the way backwards. And you're gonna find that your internal things are being disrupted because of lack of mental toughness, lack of confidence, and lack of self-esteem. You can dress it up and call it whatever you want, but when you back it down, it's gonna come out to one of these 3 areas. You can't say, yep, I'm dumb, I just can't do this. Yep, I just don't know how to do this, right? A lot of people say, what's stopping me from moving forward is I don't know how to do it. Okay, cool. Do you have the mental toughness to fight through it and learn? Do you have the belief that it's worthy? Do you respect yourself enough not to just stay on your butt and just sit there and not do nothing and only take what somebody is willing to give you, but go out and get what you want? You see what I'm saying? It's going to go back to these 3. The next thing, we're going to talk about internals. We're going to talk about internals, that internal piece. I mean, the externals, right? The external pieces. What is it externally? So externally, when we look at it, we blame our teachers. We blame our mothers, we blame our fathers, right? Whether they're in your life, not in your life, we blame our grandparents, we blame our environment, we blame the police, we blame the other race. Like, we're blaming all these people that we can't control. I can't control what my mother does. I can't control what my father does, whether he wants to be there or he don't want to be there, whether my mom want to be there or she don't. I can't blame my grandmother, right? I can't blame my aunts, my uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins. I can't blame none of them. I can't blame my girlfriend. I can't blame my friends. I can't blame none. I allowed them to be in my life. And because I allowed them to be in my life, I can't blame them for what they do. I accepted them for who they are. But I got to put them in their box and say, okay, yep, I understand that in this season, I can't rock with you right now. In this season, we really can't even talk. Now, when this season is over and I get done what I need to get done and I come out a better person, if you don't want to be there, cool, I get it. You helped me through the process of elimination. Like, you eliminated yourself. Now, if I get out of this season and I'm better and you're there, cool. We can really work. But if you're still the same, I got to put you back in the box and I got to get back to work. Why? Because there's another level beyond that. And I got to keep pushing. So I'm saying this to say, I want you to write down your externals, because I'm going to help you as we go through this process to get rid of every little excuse that you use. Right? And once you write down the 3 externals, I just want you to put one line, one X through the whole 3, all of them, right? Put an X through every external. Why? Because you can't control that. The only things you can control is your internals. And the internals is where you got to put your attention to. But if you're giving your attention to the externals is only taking your energy and your time and your drive, and they're depleting you. They're taking away from your mental toughness, your confidence, and your self-esteem. And therefore, you're not looking at this world as you're walking through with your head high and your chest out like you're a king or like you're a queen. And because you don't look at yourself like that, nobody else will either, right? I hope you get that. Listen, if you need to right now, like, pause it. And write these things down and fill it out. Don't just listen to listen. I want you to listen and then go execute, right? Listen and then go execute. So you have so much information in here and you're only operating on maybe 5% of it, 10% of it. I need you to operate on more. I need every time you get something, go use it. And you might listen, you might hear this video, right? You might hear this one, right? And then there's more to come, but you might hear this one. And when you hear this one, you might pull out 2%, 3% of it. And you might go execute the 3% that you pull out of it. That 3% you pull out is going to help you to push forward. And then you're going to watch the video again and you're going to get another 3-4%. And the 4% is now you're going to take that 4 and you're going to go execute it. And then you come back and you watch it again and you're going to get another 10-15%. See, because every time you hear something, if it doesn't register, sometimes it just means you're not ready for it. But when you take what you do get and you go execute it, when you come back, the rest of it makes sense, right? So I want you to get that, because that's extremely important, right? So let's go to this next thing. First, all right, watch this. I want you at the top of your paper, when you write this down, I want you to write down what what is the thing you want in the next 12 months? What do you want? What do you want for the next 12 months? Next 12 months of your life, what do you want? Be very specific, right? If you say, you're about to graduate, yeah, I want to get my high school diploma. All right, cool. That's your mission for the next 12 months. If you say, I want to get it to the point where, I earn the respect of my parents, right? I earn the respect of my teachers. I earn my own respect of myself, right? Whatever that is, I want you to write that down, what it is that you want. Because everything that we do, right? Everything that you do is going to get you there. If what you're doing is not tied in to getting you to what you said you want, then we don't do it. We make this thing very simple, black and white. It's yes or no. Yep. Does it help me to get there? Nope. I'm not going to do it. Does it help me to get there? Yep. Let me do that. Even if this way is harder, even if this way is easier, we don't go the easy way just because it's a way to go. We always go the way that's in the direction of what we want. And sometimes instead of going straight, right, we got to sidestep a little bit. And when we sidestep, we're just moving out of the way of the uncontrollables. If I can't control it, I'm not trying to fight it because you're draining my energy, right? Remember that. If you can't control it, if you can't change it, if no matter what you do, nothing in the world that you do will change this, right? Sidestep it. Let it go. You keep moving. I can't control the way you feel about me, the way you think about me. I can just control what I do. And if I'm doing the things that make me feel good, right? If I'm doing the things that are getting me closer to my ultimate mission for the next 12 months, then I'm not wrong for going after it. Whether you agree or disagree, I'm not wrong for going after what I want, right? So now I want you to ask yourself, once you write down the 3 internals and the 3 externals, I want to ask yourself, do you really want this? Like, do you really want that thing you wrote down? Do you really, truly 100% want it? Now watch this. This is a yes or no, right? This is a yes or no question. Do you really want it? If you say, I don't know, maybe I do, or maybe I don't. I'm not sure yet. The answer is no, right? You don't want that. I want you to ask, go to something else. Put something else at the top of your paper. I want it to be where somebody says, yo, do you want that? You're like, yep, yeah, I want that. If you haven't eaten in 2 weeks, right? And listen, a week. If you didn't eat in a week, and somebody said, do you want some of this food? You're gonna be like, yeah. Can I get some? You're not gonna say what is it? But if you just ate earlier that day, a couple hours ago, you're gonna be like what you got over there, right? I don't know, maybe what you got. That means you really don't need it. You really don't want it. But when you're like, yep, I want it, and you just jump to it, you don't care what it is, that means when you got that feeling, that means you want what you say you want, right? So it's yes at that point. But let's go a step further, right? Let's go a step further, right? We're about to wrap this up. We're gonna keep these. I want to keep these within 20 minutes, right? I want to keep these about 20 minutes. And at the end of the 20, we're going to shut them down, and then we're going to get to that next one, right? And I know we're probably over a little bit right here. It's okay, though, right? We're going to get to that next one, and we're just going to keep building and building and building. We're going to go through this whole process. Just because you home don't mean we ain't going to work. We're still going to work, right? So I want you to go to this next piece, and the next thing is why. Ask yourself, why do you want this? Why do you say that in the next 12 months you want your high school diploma? Why do you want that? Why do you want to get accepted to Georgetown University? Why? Why do you want to go to Spelman? Why do you want to go to Harvard? Why do you want to go to Yale? Why? Why do you want this? Ask yourself why. And keep it real brief. Keep it inside of a sentence. Don't make it real long where it's I want this, blah, 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 and all of this. I want this to make my family happy. No, why do you want this? Why do you? Be very specific. Why do you want this? I want this because it's going to allow me to blank. For you filling your blank, right? I want this because I will be able to blank. I want this because blank. I am going to get this, right? Put the I am. Put the I am. I am going to get this because. I am going to get this due to. I am going to get this to help, right? Whatever that is, you filling your blank, all right? You are. And let's go down to this next piece, right? And I'm not going to fly, but I'm going to kind of speed up a little bit because I want to respect your time here, and I want you to be able to go through every one of these videos so you can get it. I promise you, this will help you to change your life. As I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me, and I'm saying, okay, Pierre, when you're done, what do you need to sit down and write out? What do you need to sit down and figure out? Like, is everything you're doing clear? Like, this isn't just for you to use right now. This is for you to use now and for the rest of your life, the same process. You're going to go through, yep, do I really want this? Yes, no, yep, okay, I want it. Why do I want this? Yep, okay, cool. Like, what's stopping me from moving forward internally? What's stopping me from moving forward externally? Like, for the rest of your life, every decision you make, you run through this process. I'm giving you a key that you can just take and you can just run with it, and people will start to look at you and be like, yo, yeah, you're a king, you're a queen. Like I can't even doubt what you do. Like you always complete what it is you say. And if you go through this process, everything you say you're going to do, like you have a real love for it, right? And you have a burning desire, not just a desire, but you have a burning desire, and a burning desire will trump everything in your life if you find what it is, right? So we want to really find that. Let's go down to this last piece. This last piece is, I want you to write down 3 of your strengths, and then I want you to write down 3 of your weaknesses. So we got 3 strengths and we got 3 weaknesses, right? Give me both of them. Give me 3 strengths. And I want you to write down the first thing that comes to your mind. It might be something that someone said to you, I really, I think you're an awesome writer, right? I think your editing skills, like you understand the English language, right? Or from a mathematical standpoint, you're a genius, right? And you're like, man, I really don't even realize. Like, listen, I only got an A. Only class I ever got an A in was math, like consistently math, right? Why? Because I understood the formula to it. So people are like, yo, you're good at math. Can you help me? I'm like, yo, help you? Like, yo, I'm an F student. I'm an F&D student. You want me to help? But in math, I was an A, and that's all they seen, right? People will see the things that benefit them. So this is why it's important to know what your strengths are, right? So somebody might have said to you, you're great at this or you're great at that. Like, that's one of your strengths. Write that down. Maybe you don't see it, but they see it. Write that down, right? So write down 3 of your strengths, and then let's switch over. Let's write down 3 of our weaknesses. Your weaknesses are things that, like, I'm a terrible speller. You know what I'm saying? I can't spell. I don't know how I got to the point. I don't even know where my book's at, right? I don't even know how I got to the point where, I became an author. Well, I do. I figured out a strength is I asked for help. You know what I'm saying? I asked for help. So I went and asked somebody for help to do some editing work, right? So identify where you're weak, the things you're like, man, I just try to stay away from. I don't want nothing to do with that. I know I need it, but I don't want nothing to do with that. So now that we got 3 strengths and we got 3 weaknesses, I want you to make a circle, like a round table on your piece of paper, right? Make a round table. And I want you to put 3 chairs around your table. 1, 2, 3, right? 3 chairs, 3 of them. And each one of them chairs, I want you to write your strength in front of each one on the table, right? In front of each one of them chairs, I want you to write your strength. So you got 3 strengths, you got 3 chairs. I want you now to start to think about your family, your friends that you're around that have a weakness that your strength is able to benefit. That have a weakness that your strength is able to benefit. So if you say, I'm a great writer, and I know this person over here is looking to start a blog, but they really can't write. The writing format is terrible. It don't paint a picture. Like, nothing is put in the right place. You really can't understand it. When you take your skill of being able to turn to this, all right, you know what? Let me do it this way, because I want to keep it. I want to keep it in your classroom. And then I want to show you how to expand it outside of your classroom, right? Because I want you to be able to dominate in class and out of class as well. So let me back that up real quick. I want you to identify your strength and a subject in school, right? And then I want you to find a student, whether you know them, you don't know them, you like them, you don't like them. I don't care what it is. We're talking about building meaningful relationships, not based on I like you, I don't like you. I'm talking about meaningful. If you're great in English, and you got a student in one of your classes and you see in math, they're struggling, but in English, they're like, yo, they're just off the chart. They're struggling in English, right? But they're good in math. Your weakness is math. I want you now to be able to look at that student and say, listen, let me help you with your English. You help me with my math. And together we can, you know what I mean? I can go from getting a C in math and I can get a B, and I can help you to go from getting a C in English and get you to a B. I can get you from an F to a C. You see what I'm saying? If you can get your classmate, your fellow student from an F to a C in the grade that they're hurting in, you now get a meaningful relationship, and you'll start to be like, wow, like, yo, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you, right? You really helped me to understand, like, I can learn and I can do better than I'm currently doing. And in your classroom, you create this synergy. You create this energy that allows you to not just go to school, but you're going to school like, I'm going to help somebody today. You become a giver. And identify this, right? Before you ask for help, I want you to identify where you can be a blessing to somebody else. And when you identify where you can be a blessing, and then now you identify how this person can bless you. So I'm giving you this English information to make you better. And now I see that you're good in math and I'm struggling in math. Now we create this relationship. You can get a seat at my table. So now when you see me walking down the hall and I got 3 other people with me, just know that this isn't just a circle based on you make me laugh, hee hee, ha ha, I have a great time with you. No, this is based on I'm helping you to grow so you can get out of your current situation and you can move on in your education, you can move on in your life, and you can be a top producer no matter where you go because you understand this formula that we created. And now we're not just friends here, but we're friends up here. Why? Because we keep allowing each other to grow. We keep stretching each other. This is how we build meaningful relationships. But watch this. If mentally you're weak, if your confidence ain't there and your self-esteem ain't there, you will not know when to break this relationship. Because this relationship can turn. Maybe you misdiagnosed this person. I'm really not a blessing for you, right? Or you're really not a blessing for me. Like, listen, it's okay. What I want to do is I know somebody else that can help you, but right now at this table, it's not really good for me to communicate with you every day and you to communicate with me every day because we're not being able to get each other to climb. So now we build a level of respect for each other that says, listen, I'm truly committed to your growth. And you're truly committed to my growth. So just because you're not at this table, I want to help you to get to a table that can really benefit you. So now we have a meaningful relationship that is built on something else. You understand? But sometimes, man, we're talking to people constantly all day long that we're not adding value to, and they are not adding value to us. Like, what are we doing? We're not here to just be here. We are here to excel. We are here to learn. We are here to get to the point where we can walk with our head high and our chest out, and we can be true kings and we can be true queens. We are all on even playing grounds right now. And I want you to show up and show out. There's no reason you can't do it. Listen to me. I will see y'all next Friday on the next one where we dive a little deeper into another piece of this. Do not hesitate to go back and watch this over and over and over again, but don't just watch it. Watch it and then implement what you learn. And I'm telling you, you will get to your desired results and not just get results. $86,400 second, choosing wisely, or somebody will waste them for you.